Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer, and thank you to colleagues for supporting this individual members' debate, enabling us to have the opportunity to mark LGBT History Month for the first time on the floor of the National Assembly for Wales. LGBT History Month is celebrated in February across the UK and is a now annual event that provides us with an opportunity to promote diversity and equality across Wales and recognise the contribution that LGBT people have made to our communities and our country. Indeed, we've come a long way in the past few decades alone when it comes to LGBT rights. If I think back myself, growing up in North East Wales, going to school in the constituency that I now serve, if you just told me I would be stood here today opening a debate on LGBT equality led by openly lesbian and gay Assembly members for the first time in the Assembly's history. Well, for starters, the Assembly didn't exist when I was a teenager, but I generally never imagined I would have the courage or the confidence to be part of this as one of the first out Assembly members. Whilst there is still more that we can do on LGBT rights, we must not and never should be complacent. But it's right today that we take time to celebrate our diversity and progress as a society. And I hope that today's debate provides a chance to present the positives and offer an all-important message of hope to LGBT people in Wales, in particular younger LGBT people, whilst at the same time outlining the challenges that remain and the next steps needed. The theme of LGBT History Month this year is citizenship, PSHE and law, and there are over 1,000 events happening across the UK. Schools that celebrate difference and take a positive approach to including LGBT issues in their teaching across the curriculum see lower rates of bullying and higher achievements amongst LGBT pupils. The introduction of the new curriculum in Wales provides an opportunity to ensure that all schools can incorporate a positive approach to LGBT inclusion in their teaching and deliver LGBT inclusive sex and relationship education. We need to see statutory guidance issued to all local authorities, schools and education consortia on age-appropriate sex and relationship education. At secondary schools, this should ensure that the issues facing lesbian, gay, bisexual and trans young people are covered in topics such as consent and online safety. And in primary schools, this should involve talking about different types of families, including same-sex parents, making young people aware of the diversity of family life and relationships before entering secondary school, and to work to tackle gender stereotypes in lessons and activities. In addition, there needs to be a clear commitment to train teachers and other school staff in tackling homophobic, biphobic and transphobic bullying. We know that the majority of school staff want to tackle this bullying, but often feel they don't have the tools, confidence or right resources to do so. And on that note, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Cabinet Secretary for Education for taking the time to meet with myself and Jeremy Miles on a commitment to tackle these important issues. At lunchtime today, I hosted the launch of the Pride Cymru LGBT Icons and Allies exhibition here in the Senedd. The exhibition features 20 role models and allies from LGBT history and today, supported by the Heritage Lottery Fund. It celebrates artistic, literary, business, military and charitable, as well as campaigning figures. It will perhaps come of no surprise to colleagues here that the exhibition features a number of political activists and campaigners. I'd like to pay tribute to the courage and the commitment of those people who campaigned and fought over a number of years so that we would shift the political debate and legislate on equality. I often get asked when I go to Pride events, what's the important, why have you got politics at Pride? It's meant to be fun. Well, at its best, politics has the potential to change lives. And I am proud to represent the party today that led the way on legislating on equal right, on LGBT rights. We enable people like me to be able to stand here, to live our lives, who we are and for how we are. On the subject of Pride events, I just want to get in a shameless plug. It would be remiss of me not to mention the first ever Flintshire Pride will take place on Saturday 27th of May this year in Mold Rugby Club in my constituency. I will obviously be attending. A sense of history is important to community cohesion, as well as providing role models to inspire young people and to demonstrate positively the role of LGBT people as part of our society. I'm incredibly and eternally grateful to those who were prepared to be the pioneers in much more difficult and turbulent times and paved the way that enabled people like me to be more inclined to stick our head above the parapet today. When I was first approached to sponsor the launch of the LGBT Icons and Allies exhibition, I was actually taken aback to realise how little I knew personally about those who were part of the exhibition. And it got me thinking how much as a teenager growing up, I definitely struggled to find people I could identify with or prominent LGBT role models. I'm proud to be one of the first out members of the National Assembly for Wales, and for me, actually, I wanted to be open and honest in the way I approach politics, and for me it was important to be open and honest about who I am, because we know that visibility is important. There's a saying that you cannot be what you can't see, and this was brought home to me just a couple of months after I was elected, when I was attending a local event, and somebody came up to me and said about 2 teenagers who were gay and had said to them, they just found out on social media recently that I was, and it had made a massive difference to them. And what moved me was not what they said about me, but actually the fact that we have moved so much as a society since 20 years ago when I was a similar age, that teenagers feel they're able to be open about their sexuality. But we shouldn't forget that the decision to come out is unique to each individual and almost always fraught with anxiety. We've come a long way, but coming out, whether personally, publicly and or politically, still remains a deeply personal and unique moment for most LGBT people. Our choice to reveal this part of our identity comes with a fear of how others will react, how it will impact on us, or on our lives or the lives of those around us. And I believe our message today to every LGBT person in Wales must be: you are amazing, you are valued, and you have a contribution to make to your community and to our country as you are and for who you are. And I hope that one day we live in a world where every LGBT person can find a network of friendship and support that allows them to be themselves and in turn challenge isolation and hate. In coming to a close, I just want to recap a story about recently I went back to my old school to an annual awards evening. And you can stand up on numerous occasions in this chamber, you can give interviews in the media, but I don't know, when I walk through those doors at my old school, I am a nervous, shy 15-year-old again. And one of the questions they asked me in the Q&A was, the final question was, what advice would you give to students here today? And the advice I gave was, be yourself and believe in yourself. Because it can sometimes seem like the worst thing in the world to be different, particularly when you're an awkward teenager. But it does get better, trust me, which I know is quite an ironic thing to say as a politician. But trust me, seriously, it does get better. And just before I was elected, I actually took part in the Stonewall Role Models in a previous life as a union representative. And the quote that was taken from that, which I didn't realise at the time how actually that was going to, how prophetic that was going to become. I said that I wanted to be part of creating a more modern, more representative Wales. And I think today and going forward, we have a defining opportunity as a National Assembly for Wales to lead on LGBT equality, and lead we must. Diolch yn fawr.